Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Transformation Tuesday, January 21st, and welcome to another episode of Style by Stevie. Now, our very special guest today is an activist, battle rapper, and award winning actor. And I'm super excited to have him here in the dollhouse with me. So, without further ado, Fashion Dolls, let's welcome our incredibly talented special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as we welcome Elijah Lamar. And I see you, Derek Tuggle. Okay. There we are. Can you see me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can see you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Perfect.
That's
Welcome. Welcome
good.
to the
Welcome.
Doghouse.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
such
you.
a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having me. I apologize for yesterday.
It is okay because we're in a different time zone. You said Tennessee, correct, yesterday, and I'm in South
Hmm.
Carolina, so time
Yeah.
zone. So it's
Yeah.
such a pleasure to have you here. So before we kick off this interview, how has 2025, the new year, been treating you thus far? Because I know you've been busy working since
Hmm.
last year, 2024, and now we're in a whole new year. So how's 2025 been for you so far?
It's been going good. We finished up the first season of the Dirty A, which is a TV series that I'm a part of. I'm one of the leads on that. Um, I just got word that I am about to start back up shooting for the Power Rangers TV show that I'm a part of as well. And then I did a few things to my feature film because I also direct. So it's a feature film that I shot last year that I want to go ahead and release this year. But I've just been super busy. But I did go ahead and take a look at the footage, and I'm pretty excited about that. My daughter is in that movie. It will be her first one. So far, so good.
It's been an awesome year for you thus far. Now, how I got introduced to you is through Deadly Control, and I
Mhm.
interviewed one of your co-stars, Michael James. That was during the Christmas holiday season
Great
last year,
actor.
in
Great
2024.
actor.
We had a great time. Now, he originally wanted your role, but I said, no, Michael, no, this is not fitting for you. But the film came out so perfectly, and it has a message, which we'll talk about later. But I like to start off from the beginning of my guest's journey from then to now. Now, you were born and raised in Canton, Ohio. When I think of Ohio, I think of one beauty icon, and this woman inspires me to do makeup and so many different things. It's Holly Berry, but she's in another
Okay.
part of Ohio. She's
Cleveland.
in Cleveland, but
Yep.
you're from Canton. So tell us, what was it like for you growing up in Canton, Ohio?
Canton, Ohio, we're only known for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Um, Unless you were a superstar in sports, the ceiling for, I would say, opportunity wasn't high at all. Um, but I mean, I definitely made sure that I was a exception, but I was also great in sports as well. I had a full ride for track, so I could have made it in that. But music was my passion, and I ended up pursuing music, going hard with that, which also transitioned me into being the actor that I am today. But I mean, Canton, Ohio, a lot of people when they think about it, they think about country. Is the cost of living is low, so you can make good money there. So I feel like it's just a place where you can make good money. And if you were growing up being a high school phenom in sports, you can take off from there. But besides that, it wasn't really that much opportunity at all. And that's the reason why I had to expand and branch out in order to get the dreams accomplished that I wanted.
Now, you're a battle rapper, so I know it must have been difficult growing up in Canton, Ohio, beginning a career in the rap music industry. But you began at a very young age. So tell us, what was it like for you, coming into your own as a young man, being a battle rapper, growing up in Canton, Ohio, and what was your parents' reactions? Because I know if our parents when we tell our parents we want to get into the show business, we want to act, we want to do music, they're just like, no, you got to go to school. And that was the same reaction that my mother gave me. So for you, what was that experience like? What did you get from your parents?
Um, my mother, my father wasn't involved in my life. My mother, she was pretty supportive as long as I did what I was supposed to do in school. Like she was mainly you gonna make sure you take a butt to school and take care of those grades. Um, but I've always had a passion for music, especially because when you wake up to your mother cleaning to nothing but old
Hmm.
school rap and old school R&B every morning, you know what I'm saying? I was a fan of music just period. And then with my cousin them doing music, um, battle rap was just one of them things that happened in school. Like being in school in the lunchroom and people using pens and
Oh,
forks and knives and whatever you can think of to make a beat, and then you just got people sitting there and rapping and ciphering. And with me, I grew up with a speech impediment. So a lot of people wasn't looking or checking for me to rap at all. And especially with me having low self-esteem because of the speech impediment, I didn't know if I could do it. But one day I built up the courage to go ahead, you know what? I'm about to go ahead and try this. I start rapping, and on that day, it was like I was the cool kid. I went from being the one that people laughed at for having a stutter problem to everybody was oohing and ahhing and clapping, and it felt so amazing. It was like an alter ego was born. And from that day forward, I just decided that that's what I wanted. Like I got tired of being laughed at because I couldn't talk. But when I rapped, you couldn't hear it. Like my speech impediment, my stutter vanished. So it was like the more and more I rap, the better my speech became. And that was a choice I made to do. I said, you know what? I'm tired of being Steve Urkel. I'm about to be Stefan then. I'm about to be the cool guy. And rap just kind of took over from there. And I became a very, very known battle rapper from my city. Like, so,
and that's when Young Smurf was born. So tell
yep.
us about Young Smurf. How did you come up with the name and just the concept of your alter ego, your rap?
Smurf was actually a childhood name for my mother. It was my mother's favorite cartoon, and I was also born blue. I had to get revived as a child. So my mother said, "You look like a little blue baby. You look like a little Smurf when you was born." And growing up, I used to hate the name. Don't call me Smurf. Don't call me Smurf. You know when you get a pet, not a pet name, but a nickname from your parents, you try to be rebellious. You don't want to be called that. But as I got older, my first name I went by was E Money. That, that cracks me up even thinking about it. Was E Money, and then in my area, in the hood that I grew up with, was a lot of Crips, and so it was a lot of blue in my area, and it was like, you know what? Well, these are all my friends and family over here. Smurf just fits more. You know what I'm saying? Smurf is blue. My area, my hood is blue. Let's just run with it. And I ran with Young Smurf, and that became it.
What's the deepest regret that you've ever had in your life and in your career growing up in Canton, Ohio? If you could take anything back in time.
Probably a couple things. um, hmm. I try not to regret anything. It's crazy that you asked that question because my first tattoo, I never believed in getting anything tatted on my body unless it meant something. And my first tattoo I got on my arm was if I can do it all over again, I would do it in the same skin I'm in, no regrets. I
Mm.
didn't want to regret anything. But I mean, if I could go back and change things, I would probably either one, leave Ohio sooner, um, two, finish college there because I stopped running track to pursue my rap career, or three, stop chasing the damn girls. Like the girls that I thought was gonna be my wife and all that back then, like stop. Like don't worry about the damn girls in school and focus more on what I wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? It was a waste of time. So I mean that probably would be it. I felt like I made a lot of great choices growing up.
What's one of the best moments in your life that you must say in that
Having my
time in your
having
what were you saying? I'm sorry.
my daughter. My daughter. My daughter would be two February 1st. Having her was probably the highlight. She's actually in the background crying right now. Should I ask? She's trying to get my attention. But yeah, she gave me another purpose, another fire. I waited a very long time. I'm 36. I'll be 36 on the 23rd of next month. So I always wanted to wait until I was established in my career to have a child. I didn't want to be somebody who had a child at a young age, and then, of course, with me not having a present father in my life, I was going to put my dreams and everything to a side to be a present father. So I was very responsible when it came to that matter. But having her changed a lot for me. It's probably it's not probably it is. It's the highlight of what I love to do. No matter how many accolades and hats I wear, being a father is probably the best title I have.
And I asked Michael the same question as well, to balancing out fatherhood with your acting career. And I see you, K2. Shout outs to my brother K2, host of the K2 Spot. He will be joining me tomorrow. He says, "Hi, Elijah, and
What's
you look
poppin',
great." So
K?
thank you. It takes a village to put me together to look this good. So thank you so much. Um, but we were talking about fatherhood and finding that balance between
Hmm.
fatherhood and being the actor. For you,
Hmm.
how do you find that balance? And I know a lot of people, we and throughout my interviews, we talked about 2020 and how difficult that was, being away from your family and having to do things virtually or either stay on set because there was the
Hmm.
guidelines. So for you, how do you find that balance between fatherhood? Because it's like it's a never ending job. You're on call like
Yeah.
a doctor 24/7.
I think what happened with me was I created a pipeline to make myself more comfortable to be a great father or be a present father. And what I mean by pipeline is I took a lot of roles. I have 60 credits as an actor, and I've only been doing this since 2021. So I took a lot of roles, and while the mother of my child was pregnant, she allowed me to continue taking those roles. She was okay. She didn't want me to stop anything. So I took a lot of roles to the point where once my daughter was born, I was able to take, you know what I'm saying, 6 months, a year to get to know my daughter and not feel like I was missing out on anything because I still had so many movies and shows that were releasing. You couldn't tell that I stopped because my pipeline was so big. I still have about 20 films that are yet to be released that I shot years ago. So my pipeline created a cushion for it to be more easier to create that balance. Um, the most difficult thing I did deal with was choosing, okay, what's important? Do I stay here and be a dad, or do I go ahead and go to this audition? Because if I go to the audition, I might miss something, first time talking or something like that. Or if I stay here, that audition may be the role that I really needed. That's probably the biggest balance. You know what I'm saying? And I think the only way I put myself at ease was telling myself what's for me is going to be for me.
What's the biggest what if in your mind?
The biggest what if in my mind. Um, the biggest what if. I've never been asked that question. The biggest what if in my mind would probably be what if I would have came out here sooner? I didn't come to back to Atlanta to 2020, so I always ask myself like, what if I would have stayed out here when I came out here in 2015, and then I ended up going back. So what if I would have stayed?
You're an actor. You're always on call 24/7. I mean, when we were setting up this interview, you were just like, I can't get a date per se because I'm on call. And even
Hmm.
yesterday with the time mix up, with you being in Tennessee at the time and
Hmm.
then being here in South Carolina. So on set 24/7, finding that balance. But let's get into some of your work. You've been
Okay.
on BMF, which is directed by Christopher Henry. Step Up,
You
High Water,
you come to
Season
know
3 with Grammy Award winning singer songwriter Neo.
Neo.
They
Yeah.
cloned Tyrone with another Grammy Award winning performer, Jamie Foxx. Uh, Tyler Perry with Medea Homecoming. And how I got introduced to you was through Deadly Control. And then I went back and I've watched some of your other work, and I saw, wow, what an amazing actor, what range he has.
I
And what I
appreciate
love
that.
about you, and I'm pretty sure you know the other person I'm going to drop his name as well, because he watches, and I interviewed him. Terry T. Miles. What I
Hmm.
love about you guys is that you have range. Terry likes to go for the villainess characters. You played a villain in Deadly Control. You were the abusive husband, which we'll get into in a few moments. But what I love about your career is that you don't stay one character. And that's the
Hmm.
thing about a lot of black actors. How do you feel about black actors in the business? And I think it was Leslie Jones. She said something about black actors being typecast for one
It's
specific role. So
correct. That's
what
true.
are your thoughts on black actors being typecast for one specific role?
Um, I feel like what's for you is gonna be for you. You're only typecast if they allow you to be, or if you allow yourself to be typecast. One moment, hold on. Come on, let's sit down. Let's eat. Let's eat. You, you want to say hi? She like, no, I want to eat.
Mhm. Yeah, she's like,
So
okay, you want to eat off me right now.
so you only typecast if you allow yourself to be typecast. Um, they tried to typecast me as well. My first role was BMF. I played a corner boy. Second role was Step Up, played the corner boy. I think after that, I was booked for a couple more hood roles like the goon or the drug lord, and I realized what was happening very soon into my career. Um, I didn't want to be labeled as just the person who played the hood roles. Like, well, we see you on BMF. BMF is so iconic that that's all people see me. Oh, you play a great hood guy. I'm like, nah. I believe in myself that I could do more, so I start rejecting roles, which is very scary to do because a lot of people in the acting world are struggling actors, or what I like to say is I'm a working actor, but people are not booking gigs like that. So for you to turn down roles like are you insane? But I start saying no. I'm not gonna keep taking those roles until I'm able to get a different type of role. So I wrote down a list of different roles I wanted. This is my bucket list of roles I want. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a firefighter, a lawyer. I want to play this type of role. And Dennis Reed from Detroit gave me the opportunity to be in his movie, and I played the lawyer, Savage Revenge, and I did amazing. When I did the lawyer role, everybody was like, "Oh, he can act for real, for real." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell y'all. If you give me a chance." So once they see me in a different light, that's when the other roles start coming in, and they was like, "Oh wow, he can really act." He now I went from being a hood person so I played the lawyer, I played the doctor, I played the uncle, a father, I played the Power Ranger. Like I'm too versatile, and that's what I wanted. I wanted people to see like you can't just typecast me in one category. I won't allow that to happen.
You were King Taylor on the Power Rangers, and as you've mentioned, the role where you were in the courtroom, you were on the Dirty A, and I seen you all suited up. A complete comparison from the character that you played in Deadly Control.
Hmm.
So again, it goes to show you, and I reference this woman all the time, Taraji P. Henson. Taraji, when she was taking her role for Empire, she said, I won't do it if it doesn't scare me.
Correct.
So you got to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. What's the most challenging thing you've ever had to overcome while on set filming?
Give me one moment, okay?
Take your time. I get it. Again, like I said, father, finding that balance. I get it.
Correct. It's the balance. Hold on one moment.
In the meantime, fashion dolls, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. My brother K Tooks will be joining me in the dollhouse. It'll be a little bit later than how we would do it now, 4 p.m. But today you guys are getting two shows. So after this interview, Tom Paulino joins me next at 4 p.m. So we're gonna keep it going. But to make up for yesterday, you guys are getting two shows. So make sure you guys head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube. And also, I'm on Fanbase. So if you're not on Fanbase, please go and sign up and join Fanbase. It is time for us more than ever to support Isaac Hayes III, Black owned media, Black owned businesses. Make sure that you go and you find me on Fanbase. And I did the post, and I will share that post again to my stories. Make sure you guys are following my stories. Check out my stories. There's a lot there. You can check out my scent of the day and find out what scent I'm wearing. You can see the glam. You can see everything in my stories. So make sure you guys please go and check it out. In the meantime,
Okay, I'm back. What was your last question?
yes, I was saying how what was the most challenging thing you've ever had to overcome while getting into character on set?
Hmm. Um, so it's a couple things. So as I got older, as I said before, when I started doing music, it helped my speech impediment to the point where it's not there. Instead of me stuttering, I have like a slight list that's there. But sometimes it comes back when I get nervous or if I'm uncomfortable, and be certain times where I start beating myself up, reading lines, and I'm like, oh man, I'm stuttering. I gotta come on, and I'm not trying to get out there and not be prepared. So I'm like, man, I gotta get this line together. I'll be overthinking it in my head. I'm like, if you don't just spit this out, you too grown to be stuttering now, all right? Like you ain't no kid no more. um, so it would be a couple times doing that. But if you want me to be specific for a role, I would say Deadly Control was the second role that I did when it came to being an abusive boyfriend. My first one is not out. I don't know if it's going to
All
come
right.
out. But the first time I ever did it was very challenging. It was based off a true story. I despise men who put their hands on women. So for me to tap into that type of mindset was difficult, only because I know what I would do when somebody even raised a hand to my mother or any females in my family. So for me to have to bring that to life was difficult. I had a lot of female friends telling me how they was triggered, and
I'm
I'm
one
like, ugh.
of the women that was triggered by it too. I was very upset with your character. I was
So
mad.
it sucks because I mean, of course, I made it believable, but being in a mindset, like knowing when to turn it on and turn it off, like once you get into a certain mindset, you don't want to bring it home. Like, and that stuff is real. I used to hear about it in like interviews about people talking about leaving your character on set and don't come home with it. And I'd be like, man, that's not, it's easy. Just turn it off. No, it's not. Like, once you become a character, when you're really a great actor, it can come home with you to the point where, you know what I'm saying, the lady I was dating at the time would say something, I see myself being snappy to her, and I'm like, you know what? Ooh, I apologize. Or responding how the character would respond and not how I would respond. So that probably was like the most challenging.
You know what I was just about to say because I just said this in one of my interviews with Lester Green. He played in Father May I,
Mm,
played Willie in Father May I. And for his character, because it was so real, he played that character so well to the point where he was receiving death threats. Like you have to understand, separate the two, that you
yeah,
are not the character. This is just a character. But
yeah.
then you have people who walk up to you, like Terry's character, because Terry also played an abusive boyfriend in the film as well too. He played in Father May I as well too. I said, do you keep always picking these villainous characters? But something funny happened to him. He was coming out of a club. He was doing a film premiere, and women walked up to him and they was like, "Oh, we can't stand you. We was mad at you." You know you did the role so well when people walk up to you, the first thing that comes out of their mouth is, "We can't stand you. We was mad at you."
Hmm.
And then they started reciting the lines, and he just cracked out laughing, like, "Oh my God." Like, one of the lines was, "Take your ass to bed and don't wake up." And the women was reciting the line to him. He just broke out laughing. And that's how it is. Has that ever happened to you?
Hello, Raya. That happens all the time. So, my character I actually play. I go by my name Smurf on the Country Wayne skits, and I'm the villain on that. And you know, Country Wayne is probably the biggest platform I've been on. I used,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I'm saying, get millions of views on my skits, and I played the villain on that. And people hate my character so bad. Uh, I mean, literally, like just the demographics of different type of cultures and races and people who would see me that I never would expect they would watch. I would go somewhere and a Nigerian or an African or an old white lady, it didn't matter. They would see me and be like, "You're a Smurf." I'd be like, "Hey," they'd be like, "Ooh, Rico's gonna get you." And Rico was on the other side. They loved Rico, but I was the one who kept bullying like his crew and stuff. They'd be like, "Rico's gonna get you. I can't stand Smurf. You're a great actor though, but I can't stand Smurf." I'm like, "Thank you." It'd be random stuff. Like now it's to the point I can lightweight see it coming. Like people's faces change. Like in Walmart, I'll be going down the aisle and see somebody, and they'll stop and be looking. Now, normally, I got a problem with somebody staring at me like, "You okay? It's beef." And now I realize they probably recognize me from a show or something. And most people will speak and say something. Like if I wave at them or something, like, "Hey," they be like, "Hey, are you the guy from the one?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." "Hey, man, you dope." So I definitely see it coming. It happens a lot. I would say that it happens in traffic, happens at stores. I just had two people stop me because of daily control and was like, "Yo, you did your thing, and now I can't believe you was really believable in that role. My wife couldn't stand your character." I'm like, he's like, "But that means you did a good job." So I definitely see that a lot.
And for the viewers out there that are thinking that he's like the character, it's just a film. And I told Lester the same thing, but I'm like, it shouldn't get to the point where you're receiving death threats. But that
Death
happens
threats
because the
is
character
crazy.
is so believable.
Yeah, yeah, death threats is definitely crazy. Shout out to Lester. Hey, that mean you did what you was supposed to do.
And that's what I told him. I said, people have to learn to separate the character away from the person. You're nothing like the character. You're completely opposite. But then we see that lighter side of you in Country Wayne. And then we see you on shows like For My Man and Snapped. So, I mean, the list goes on and on. And then Power Ranger. It's all about having range and stepping outside of your norm, your comfort zone. Because, like Taraji P said, it's not going to be comfortable. I don't want to do it if it doesn't scare me because most people are used to you taking that specific type of role. And that's what I said in my interview with Michael. They're used to you being the good guy. Michael wanted your role
He
originally.
did.
Did you know?
I know. Yeah, yeah.
And
We talked about it. We talked about it. Whenever he seen me come on for the we did a photo shoot. He was like, "Man," he was like, "I can't stand you got that role." I said, "Why? You in the movie?" He was like, "No, I wanted that role." He was like, "But when they told me who got it, I was like, all right, that's cool. At least he a good actor. If it was anybody else, I was gonna say, hell no, I gotta get that role."
you played the character of Jamon, and he played the character of Nigel. Now, the courtroom scene, I know after the scene was shot, it must have been some sort of laughter. You got to try to hold back, playing and being in character because your character got arrested. That
Mhm.
courtroom scene, and the judge was there, and Michael really tapped into that character because he was trying, your wife in the film, him and her were dating, and I can't give the film away, y'all. So I'm
No, I
gonna
got
say
you.
this.
Yeah.
So
It actually wasn't no laughter on that scene. That scene. So when it comes to scenes like that, having anybody that is not understanding understanding of what's needed probably would be exited out the room.
oh,
I need quiet. I need to tap into something that's gonna get me into that mode of crying. I'm not talking to nobody. Um Most actors who have to get into a scene where they're crying, they usually tell them don't talk to the actor. They have to go into their own zone. Even when they yell cut, we're not laughing. We're not at all because even though it's a made up scene,
mm,
that emotion is real. Like my brother passed away, so I usually tap into when he passed away to
mm.
make me cry about for something like this. So I'm not for sure what Michael tapped into, but I'm sure that he tapped into something also. It takes us a minute to get out of that. Like normally when you yell cut, we need about 5 minutes to get back out of it now. We can't just go from all right, cut. Whew, all right, man, that was good. No, I'm still in that. I need some time. I need some space right now.
It was real, it was raw, and it was passionate. And the judge, the judge cracked me up. She was not playing no games. When she
at
banged
all.
that gavel, she meant business. She meant business. But
Hmm.
then we go to the cell scene. I've seen that happen all too many. I've read stories about that actually happen
Hmm.
from cases of abuse and domestic violence. From the person saying, "If I can't have you, nobody else will." How difficult
Hmm.
was it for you to do the cell scene?
Um, so the cell scene was kind of, I'm not gonna say triggering, but it was some trauma involved, I would say, only because in my past before I've had bad thoughts about harming myself as well. So having get into that mindset was probably one of the hardest things inside the movie, more even more difficult of getting into like the mean world. Um, that one, it just at the end of the day, my job is to bring the character to life. I have no matter how difficult it is, my job is to bring it to life. So I even came up with ideas on how to make it look real. Like the first idea that the AD had, I'm like, that's not going to look believable. Let's do it like this. Let's tie this up. Let's do it like if I was in that real, you know what I'm saying, situation, what would I do? And what people don't know is the part where like my legs and stuff is dangling. It was a time where I wrapped it around my neck and really held it. That's why you see the eyes gouging out. I really did it for a few seconds before they was like, all right, that's enough. Like, because sometimes they use stunts. Sometimes they do stuff. I'm pretty sure you've seen stuff in movies where it just doesn't look real. You be like, oh my God, that was horrible. I'm not trying to be him. So if I have to indulge into that pain, even for 5 seconds, just to make it look believable to the viewers, that's what I do. I do my own stunts and everything. So,
Have you ever had any injuries? Because I've interviewed a lot of
mhm.
stunt. I've sat with a lot of them that are mixed martial arts experts, that are wrestlers that have done their own stunts. One of them was Spitfire Brown. He was Rain in Mortal Kombat,
Mhm.
and he said, "Oh, I'm getting set on fire the next day." I said, "This is a walk in the park." Like, no,
I actually have.
it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's some of them you actually get hurt. And I remember one actor, I know, a wrestler saying that I broke bones in certain parts of my body from this stunt that I did. It has to
Yeah, that's rough.
seem so real.
That's
So
rough.
has any injuries happened to you ever on set?
All done? Yes. So I was shooting my TV series called Jason Maserati. It's not out yet, but I did my own stunts on that one. It was a part where we had a shootout across like a lake, and I was running. It's basically like it's like a Black James Bond. So there's a lot of action. I was running and diving, and I jumped over this table, and it's been a couple of times. But when I jumped over the table like the third, fourth time, we're in a forest. So it was stuff in the field that ended up like scraping my leg up. And I'm like, oh man. And then another time with Jamal Willard, me and him have a movie coming out where we did a bank heist. And you know how tall the bank teller things are when you go
Yeah,
there? Like
the steps.
they're about right here. I jumped on top of that and put the fake gun to the teller, was like, get down. I jumped on top of that about 4 or 5 times because you have to keep doing the scene, all these angles. By like the fifth, sixth time, I'm not young anymore. My legs kind of was giving out. I went to jump and the leg gave out. I hit my shin on it and bust my leg open. I'm like, oh my. I was like, I hope y'all got enough because I'm done. I'm not doing that one no more. Let's move forward to the next scene. So
Wow,
that's the
wow, wow,
time.
wow.
Yep.
But see, it's all to give a great film and make the viewers, us, the
Hmm.
consumer, make it so believable that it's just real. When we watch it in theaters, it's so worth it. So definitely. So my next question for you is, if you could go back in time and tell your young self something, what would you go back in time and tell your young self? A young boy growing up in Canton, Ohio, with
Don't be
dreams,
scared.
ambition.
Don't be scared. Go ahead and do it. Worry about yourself. Everybody's not meant to go with you. I spent a lot of time trying to get family and friends to go with me and waiting for them. And once I realized they didn't have the motivation or the passion that I had, I even went back for people at times. And I feel like if I had somebody to tell me, like, no, the sooner you go and make it, then you could come back for them, is the better. I think that would be what I would tell myself is go. Don't be afraid. Everybody's not meant to go with you. Go ahead and go. Go by yourself.
What's special about this moment in your life right now? While you're in your prime, you got a lot of shows, you got a lot of films coming out. What's special to you? Do you ever sit in your dressing room or in your room or wherever and just think like, wow, God, this is all happening just the way I want it?
I would just say the whole journey. It's not anything specific. It's the whole journey. I've been through a lot in my life. A lot of good, a lot of bad. Me just being alive is special. Me being able to say I'm a father to a beautiful baby girl is special. Her being 2 on the 1st of February and already been in a movie is special. Me having the opportunity to create better opportunities for her is special. Me not being in Canton, Ohio, working a 9 to 5, being in that hamster wheel, living to work, work to live mentality is special. Even even the bad stuff that I go through, like the whole journey is special. You
What
okay?
Pure Lux for my ladies? Please go and check out Pure Lux Salon. Pamper yourself, treat yourself. I talk a lot about self care and taking time for yourself and pouring into yourself. Make sure that you are pouring into yourself because you can't pour from an empty cup. And speaking of pouring from an empty cup, what has been the most valuable life lesson that you've learned throughout your career?
Mm, most valuable life lesson in my career. I almost quit my career chasing love before. Yep. And that I would never ever tell somebody again to do that. The person at the time basically gave me like a ultimatum. A ultimatum, and I thought about it. I thought about it, and yeah, that probably was the probably would have been the craziest thing ever, and I wouldn't be here today if I would have went through with that. But the universe makes sure I'm very protected, and it made sure it did not happen. So I'm thankful.
And that I second that notion. Don't ever give up your career or your passion for someone because they suggest, why don't you do this? Why don't you quit doing this? Keep going after your passion and following what your heart's desires are. So, how do you
Say hi.
reconnect with yourself after loss? Hi, sweetheart. Hey, sweetheart.
What was the last question?
How do you reconnect with yourself after loss? Because I remember saying you lost, hearing you say in this interview that you lost your brother. I lost my sister. So I totally can relate what it's like losing a sibling. How did you reconnect?
Um, Everything takes time. Um,
Yeah.
Once again, just telling yourself if it's for you, it's gonna be for you. Um, Not beating yourself up because it's not going the way you want it, or it's not happening on your time. Um, that's all. That's the only thing I could tell myself. If not, that I would have been stressing and being upset because I'm not here. And do I need to go ahead and quit now? And the only thing I could think about is this loss. And you gotta just take it day by day. You got some people who can move on quickly. Some people it take them longer. Um, yeah, it takes time. It takes time, and then one day the hurt will be less. I don't think it ever goes away, but it becomes more bearable, um, and it just becomes less over time. One day you will wake up and be like, you know what? I feel stronger today. I feel like I could do more than what I did last week.
It's a process. Grieving is a process. Mourning is a process. I remember one day after getting done doing an interview, I came out and I saw my mom. She just broke down crying. Like I couldn't even go view my sister's body. It was difficult for me. My aunt and my father and my uncle and his wife went to go do it. My grandmother as well, but I just couldn't do it. Me nor my cousin. We stayed back in her apartment. And then one day, coming back from doing an interview, my mom just broke down crying. I'm like, "What's wrong? What happened?" And she said my sister's name. I'm like, "Okay." She hasn't fully grieved properly. So everybody has
Yeah.
their way of grieving. It takes time, and then when you least expect it, you could be going through your day normally, and then it just could hit you right then and
Yep. Yep. And that has happened even like last year for me. You don't see it coming. Mm, but you just have to tell yourself it's okay. It's okay. It just shows that you still care. You know what I'm saying? You're never going to forget them. So that's gonna happen. There's gonna be things that come up in your life that trigger you to be like, oh, I remember when me and my brother used to do this, and now he's not here anymore. Like it happens. It's life. That's all.
what scares you the most in life?
Um, leaving this earth before I do what I'm supposed to do. Like before I fulfill my purpose. Before I guess have a amazing relationship with my daughter to see her grow. Probably is the most scaring thing.
Resilience. And we talk a lot about legacy here on my platform.
Hmm.
So before we get to our games here with Elijah, because we got you guys are getting two shows today. Coming up next, we have Tom Pilino. So we're doing two shows today, back to back. But legacy. We talk a lot about legacy because you've been in the acting game, you've been in the music game for a long time. What is one thing you want to leave for your daughter if she decides, because she's already acting right now, so to go further, pursue music, pursue modeling, whatever she wants to in the future? What is something as a part of your legacy that you'd like to leave?
I just want to leave the opportunities as far as the choices, the confidence for her to do whatever she wants to do. Her knowing what her father went through and what I overcame. I want that to be instilled in her, for her to have the confidence no matter what anybody say. You can do whatever you want to do and become whoever you want to become. So as long as I continue to build that foundation and she sees it as well, she'll never be discouraged by anybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so forth and so on. All right, fashion dolls, it is time. We are about to get into our games here with Elijah. The first one is called the Rapid Five, and I do this with all of my guests. I like to find out what do my guests like that they can't live without. So Elijah has
Okay.
to tell me five things that he can't live without. Some of them like their favorite football team, their favorite music artist, their favorite drink, and then we're going to do something called turn the tables. So this is where
Okay.
my guests get to ask me as many questions as they want to on life, on beauty, on fashion, on passions, dreams, goal, religion, whatever they want to know. They can ask me that in the next segment. But we're going to start off with the rapid five.
Okay.
So Elijah, what are five things that Elijah can't live without?
Five things I cannot live without. My daughter. Um, music. Well, no, let's just say my career, so that way it's all in one. My daughter, my career, macaroni, um, lemonade, and peace.
Mm. It all ties into it because family is number one to me. So I love that you said that said your daughter. Mine's is my number one is my family. God and my family, they all go hand in hand. Oh,
Yep, those would be my five.
yes. All right, fashion dolls. My heart is beating so fast for this next segment. I don't know. what he's going to ask me. So I'm going to pass it on down here to Elijah. And Elijah is going to ask you
They
some
said,
questions.
and me.
So take it away, Elijah.
um, what got you into this field to create this platform?
Well, it's something that happened. And I shared this story with Terry for my new viewers out there. If you're just watching the platform. I'm in rural South Carolina. And we know that there's a lot of racism, underlying racism now. And I graduated in 2016 right after high school. So my mom just recently shared this story. Right in front of that courthouse down here in South Carolina where I'm at, there was a Klansman that took place. And the police had to make sure that the Klans did not get to the people and bother the people. We know, and then I feel like it's emboldening. Now I'm not even gonna get into that. But I said, why aren't there any platforms that talk about social issues or just entertainment in general? And we have them, but it's very few and in between. And if they are, they are. So I said, why
Hmm.
a black woman or anybody out here that is being vocal about these issues that people want to discuss? There has to be someone out here who can be a voice for people who don't have a voice. So in that right after high school, 2016 was where I said, okay, here's where I come in. And it wasn't originally called Style by Stevie. It was called Weekdays Topics. So the style aspect, the fashion aspect came along by me combining all of those things that I love, whether it's entertainment, whether it's film, whether it's music, fashion, whatever it may be. I was sitting in my room brainstorming one day and I said, can't be just Weekdays Topics. We would do it at 11 o'clock and not at 4, but 11. And I said, no, no, no. It's got to have a name. Style by Stevie is the name.
Okay. All right, I
So
like that.
that's how it came to be. Yeah. Birth in
Well,
26.
well, congratulations on you taking that leap.
Thank you. It was scary because I'm just like, okay, how are people going to receive it? How are people going to react to it? You know, you're froze
And
on my end. Oh God, what happened? I can hear you, but your picture's froze.
it's froze.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on one moment. Let me see if because you're not froze on my end. One second. Is
There
that
we
better?
are. Now you're back. Now I can see.
Okay.
Yes.
But yes, well, salute to you for not allowing that fear to stop you.
And it is scary because you're in the front line, you're in the limelight, and people are watching. And it's either pass or fail. And I was so critical of myself because I started off at a young age. I was a teenager. Right after high school when I started. I'm 31 now. And how I have so much maturity and wisdom as a woman coming, young black woman coming into my own is because of life's experience. And my mom didn't know a thing about the entertainment business. She had her reservations. She was like, this what you want to do? You want to host a platform? She's like, you're going to go to school, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Because a lot of people don't know, I also took up cosmetology during my high
Okay.
school years. And I wanted to have something to fall back on. I love hair. I love makeup. I love fashion. I love experimenting. I've had every hair color under the rainbow, under the sun. But it's been so much fun. And I have something to fall back on, something that I'm skilled and I have experience in that God has put skill into me to be able to pursue. So, yeah, that was
Congratulations.
my mom's only concern. Like, you better have something to fall back on because she just like, this show business, our parents have our reservations. They're just like, no, you're going to go to school. You're going to become a doctor. You're going to do
Hmm.
this. You're going to college.
Well, congrats on you, and thank you for making the platform for us to go ahead and share our stories.
Yes, 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 yes. So, as many questions as you want. As many questions as you want.
I think that was the main one. Like I always asked, well, I always wonder with people who decide to do like podcasts or TV shows and play like what made them do it, like what allowed them to go ahead and get into that lane to, because you can easily use your platform to just talk about you. But these people decide to be selfless and use their platform to help out others. So that's dope.
And that's what I want. I want to educate people. I want to inform people and bring awareness to anybody that wants to get into the acting business. Anybody that wants to become a director, a writer. There's so many out here, so many people that are becoming independent filmmakers, independent artists, and they don't know the way. So just
Hmm.
from watching our platform or watching an interview, they can get that insight. Yeah.
You okay? What is your favorite? What's your favorite film?
What was that? I couldn't hear you. Went out for a second.
What's your favorite film that you've seen with me in it?
I have to say, Deadly Control. You did such an outstanding job in that because the character was so believable. Jermon was so believable, and to have other women having the same exact emotion that I have, which is anger, which is rage. Like, oh my God, how could you do this? And for them to be bold and adamant and walk up and say how they exactly feel. So that's one
Hmm.
of my favorites. And of course, seeing you on BMF and on other shows as well, to the Dirty Eight. So
Okay. Well, y'all stay tuned for the Dirty Eight. We got more episodes dropping. Supposed to be dropping at the end of this month. So we keep our fingers crossed.
so stay tuned, Fashion Dolls. So before we conclude this interview, Elijah, because this is such, I told you it was going to be a dynamic experience. If you could drop some gems for anybody who's feeling, because I know everybody is a range of emotions. I came on yesterday when we were supposed to have our interview, and I just went live and I said, "How are we feeling?" And it was MLK Day. So I said, "How are we feeling? What words of encouragement would you give to people feeling hopeless, just
Um,
feeling hope, feeling down, whatever?"
just bet on yourself. Nobody else will. My favorite quote I tell people is to be successful, you have to jump as quickly at opportunities as you do conclusions.
Yes,
It's in our human nature to procrastinate when there's an opportunity in front of us, but we jump to conclusions quickly. If you was to apply that same energy to the opportunities, your life would probably be 10 times different. We just gotta take those chances. I mean, life is short. So the sooner that you do something that you want to do, the sooner you will know if it's for you or if it's not for you. It's nothing wrong with failure. Failure is something that you can learn from.
absolutely, absolutely. And I see you, Pure Lux Salon. Make sure you guys please go and check out Pure Lux Salon. Make sure you guys are supporting Black-owned businesses, Black-owned establishments more than ever. So definitely. So before we let you go, where can everyone follow you and check you out? You have a lot of projects that are
Hmm.
coming out.
Well, y'all can follow me on IG at Elijah Lamar 330. That's also my Facebook and my website as well, Elijah Lamar 330. And then if you just type it in on Google, I'm verified, so my IMDb will come up with all of the projects that are listed on there. It's a lot that's not listed as well. But you just follow me. I try my best to stay engaged and keep people updated on, with what I have going on. We are in the world of social media. You've seen everybody went into a frenzy when they thought we lost TikTok. So
Mhm.
I gotta, if you're inside this game, you gotta make sure that you are on social media. So I try my best to make sure I keep everybody engaged. So just follow me at Elijah Lamar 330.
All right, Fashion Dolls, there you have it. Be sure to go and check out Deadly Control, The Dirty Eight, all of Elijah's projects out on Tubi now. Please go and check it
Hmm.
out and support.
And thank you very
And
much for having me.
you are so welcome. And Pure Luck says she followed.
Thank you very much for the follow, Pierre. I will follow back.
And I look forward to chatting with you soon again in the future.
Of
This was an
course,
honor. Feel blessed.
of course.
Had a great time.
Enjoy your next interview, and we will be in touch soon. Thank you very
Yes,
much.
coming up next, Fashion Dolls, we have Tom Pilino. So make sure you guys tune in. Go refresh your drinks, go get your wine, go get whatever, and come back. We'll see you again.